Leeds International School, Form 4 Second Term English Language, Writing for a Purpose and an Audience. Page numbers are 180 to 187. The lessons will help you to understand how to distinguish writing to argue, to persuade and to advise, how to approach these writing tasks, finally, how to write for different audiences. On this slide, it is shown the definitions of argue, persuade and advise. You all have to join with me to read this, right? Let's move to the first one. Argue. Argue means to present a point of view in a logical and clear way. You can see in this first definition I have highlighted logical and clear, because once you argue, you have to just present, right? You have to present your point of view in a logical and clear way. Next one is persuade. What does it mean? Persuade means to force someone to think or do what you want them to. What you want them to means what you want them to think and do. Last one is advise. It means to make suggestions about what someone should think or do. Yes, on this slide it talks about language features of argue. As you can see here, I have mentioned 4 basic points that you have to consider by the time that you are going to use that argumentative writing style, right? And there also there are some features you can use to make your writing attractive, right? Attractive for what? Attractive to read. Let's move to the first one. The first point is, whatever the points that you are going to write down, you have to mention those clearly, right? Then clear points, you have to use clear points. Next one is use of connectives to show links between ideas. Here use of connectives means sometimes write with what you are going to write down. You have to take some good connectives, conjunctions to combine your ideas well. Right, once we move to the example which goes with this, you can understand, you can clearly identify how those connectives should be used, right, to links ideas with it, right. Is that clear? Okay, right, let's move to the next one. The third point is polite countering of opposing opinions. By the time that you are going to just write or talk about that opposing opinions, there also you have to be very polite. That is one of the main points of writing to argue, right? You have to be very polite with your writing style, right? The last point is use of evidence to back up opinions. You have to use lots of evidence just to prove, right? If you argue, right, you have to use lots of evidence to prove what you are just telling, you are writing. Is that clear? Good. Let's move to the example after this. Yes, as you can see, this is the example for writing to argue. Let's move to the highlighted points using green color, a strong point in favor and while it's true. Those two, they go with, for what? Connectives link points. Next one is, let's find an example for evidence to back up ideas. What may be the answer then? Yes, 93% of students surveyed by the BBC in 2010. Now I want you to find examples, right, for clear opinions. For clear opinions. Yes, guess. What may be the color? Purple or blue? Yes, the answer is purple color, right? Then purple, you have to just go with the points which have been highlighted using the purple color. And the other point is polite counter of opposite views. Then we can take the wealth of helpful information it contains cannot be ignored. Now, as it's in purple color, you know that it goes with clear opinions as well. But at the same time today, right, we can consider this as a polite countering of opposing views. Is that clear? I hope you all have understood the example I have explained you. Okay, let's move to the next point. Yes, so we have moved to language features of Persuade. Let's read one by one to see what the language features, yes, which go with right into Persuade. You all have to read with me, right? Let's start. Biased opinions. You have to use biased opinions when you write a persuasive writing there, right? Writing to persuade. Next one is use of emotive language and rhetorical devices. Third point is forceful countering of opposing opinions. The last feature is use of evidence to back up opinions. Yes, this is the example which goes with right into Persuade. Here also you can see I have highlighted some words, phrases and sentences. That is to indicate the language features we have already discussed which go with right into Persuade. Right? Now I want you to find out, right? I'm not going to explain about those language features here. I'll just give hints, right? I want you to just find out what may be the language feature which go with this, right? Let's move to this first. Glorified gallery of inappropriate images, porn, filled and smart, the mess, harms. I will have to find out which language feature these go with, right? Next one. Something needs to be done urgently. I'll just help you a little. The first one, right? Glorified gallery of inappropriate images, then porn, filth and smart, the mess, harms. They go with, yes, emotive language. Right? When we talk about rhetorical questions, then you can find it easily here. Then what about backup writing opinions? With that I'll help you. The example which goes with that is 1 in 3 male teenagers admitted to looking at pornography in 2011. Okay, hope that what I just told you, you have understood well today, right? Therefore, if you feel like it isn't clear, keep in a pause here. Again, you have to move to that language features, right, which go with right into Persuade. Then after that, once you move to this, I'm sure you can understand it well. Okay, let's move to our next point. Yes, here we have to deal with language features of writing to advise. The first point is clear guidance. When we advise, we have to show a clear guidance. Next point is second person. Right, I'm talking about your writing style. When you advise, right, in your writing, you have to use the second person. Next point is use of encouraging and motivational phrases. Finally, you can use like this. Give the choices and explain the consequences. Yes, this is the example which goes with, yes, advice. Here Pute, I want you to read this, right? This given information I want you to read. Pay your attention to the language features we have already discussed, and you have to find out what they are, right? Clear opinion, second person, then encouraging and motivational phrases. Finally, give the reader choices and explain the consequences. How those language features they have been used in this piece of information. That's what I want you to find out. Is that clear? Okay. Yes. On this slide, it has been mentioned what will be asked. What will be asked when and where. Huh? By the time Pute, you all are going to answer at the exam for a specific question, right? Which goes with what we have already discussed, right? Then there you will be asked like this. How? To write about a particular issue with form, audience and purpose in mind. Form, audience and purpose. Okay? But before answering that, right, you should have a clear idea about what these are. What's a form, what's an audience, what's the purpose of writing. Right? What does it mean? With the term form, and when we talk about a form, it talks about the piece of writing. Sometimes, right, we can say this might be a letter, an article for newspaper or magazine, or else a report or a speech, right? We can mention these as the forms of what you are going to write about. Then audience. Audience means to whom, right? To whom you are going to write. Then with this we can say this is the individual or group of people your writing should be aimed at. Then purpose. Purpose means, and when we talk about this purpose, actually this refers to style of writing. You need to use either argue, persuade or advise, or perhaps a mixture. Purpose means either you are going to argue, then persuade or advise. Is that clear? Okay, good. Yes, here it talks about essential points. In other words, we can say important points you have to follow at the exam. Let's move to one by one. Read the question thoroughly, then read it again. You have to read and understand the question well. If not, you will write something totally different from the question you have been asked. Therefore, please, right? Dear students, you all have to read well and understand the question properly. Next one is identify the topic, form, audience and purpose. Third point is potentially think of a role you could write in. Finally, you can spend 5 minutes on planning how you are going to write down, right? What will be your paragraph division? Like that, you have to plan the answer you are going to write. These are some other essential points we have to follow. Write in the style indicated by the question, right? If you are asked any specific style, right, then you have to use them. Okay, next one, try to start your answer in an interesting way. That is the most important thing. though you know all the things, all the facts, if you can't, right, if you can't write using a very interesting writing style, using very attractive writing style today, right, then your answer, it won't be successful. Therefore, knowing the facts plus, right, writing your answer, right, providing your answer in an interesting way, that is very important. Remember it well. Next point is, use paragraphs to structure each of your points, right? As I just mentioned on the previous slide too, you have to just use, right, paragraphs division there. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Yes, these are the final essential points you have to follow. Use connectives to link points together. Now you already know what connectives are, right? Next, finish with a punchy and memorable conclusion, right? As you start that writing well, your end even, it should be done properly. Next one, and we can say the last point is, be aware of time. Spend 45 minutes on this question. That is something, right? You have to spend 45 minutes plus, right, at the same time you have to write all the information was to be mentioned there. Did you understand it? Okay, hope your answer is yes. Yes, activities. They have been included here, right? They have been included here due to show that how talented you all are in writing, to argue, to persuade, and to advise, right? Okay, let's move to these activities quickly. What's the page number of the first activities? That is page 181. You all have to keep your book with now. Page 181. Here, there are two sample student answers, right? A and B. Considering these two, you have to fill this grid, right? Then let's move to the page 183. There you have to do activity 3. 183. Yes, this is the one. Imagine you are an expert who gives advice on a website. That's good. Interesting. Write two replies to these questions from a teenager and a parent. Right, questions they are from a teenager and a parent. Then you have to give pieces of advice for their questions. Next one is activity 5. That is also, yes, on the same page 183. Yes, it's about writing a speech. Write your own speech in answering to the question in activity 4. You have to move to activity 4 before just moving to this, right? Your speech should be about 350 to 400 words long. Right? Let's move to activity 4 as well. Here, you have been asked to speak, right? You have been asked to speak to younger students at your school or college, giving advice on how to cope with exams, right? How to cope with exams. Write the talk you would give. That is also somewhat interesting. Okay, an interesting, yes, topic is there. Now you have to write down your speech here. Okay, right. So let's move to the final one. That is activity 3. Page number is 186. 186. Yes, I turned the page. 186. Activity 3. Here, write into a friend. Then what you asked, find an example of each of the following techniques used in this given letter, right? Rhetorical questions, short sentences for dramatic effect, the use of statistics to prove what is being said. Last one is repetition of words or use of similar words for effect. Did you understand that, Pute? Yes, I hope that with what I have explained, you all have got kind of an idea about how you all have to do these activities. Okay, then do your best, right? You all have to write answers well for these activities. Good luck then. Yes, dear students, this is the end of today's lesson and thanks for watching. Goodbye.